Hey, it's pretty obvious who that number one player on our Pro Bowl list is, right?
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening, everybody? Matt Derry with you. It is a Wednesday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day on a Wednesday, July 17th and a Thursday, July 18th. Thanks for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, the Detroit Lions, a week from today, day one of training camp. The players report next Tuesday. They'll be on the field a week from today. Can you believe this? Shout out to our everydayers who watch or listen to the podcast every day, and that includes my guy Turner Batdorf down in Houston, and also John Dyer, Royal Oak Financial. JD is my guy, saw him today. He watches the show every day. He listens. We appreciate all of our everydayers who are out there checking us out again, whether it's on the audio side or on the video side on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Playoffs are done. It's just baseball season. The sports stop sporting like we want them to. But this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Follow us on Twitter at Derry Speaks, at Locked On Lions, Matt Derry Facebook fan page. And again, please subscribe and watch us for free on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Coming up on the show today, we have had the list for the last week of the 5 players that I think have the best chance to be first-time Pro Bowlers with the Lions. The guy who I think has the best chance at number 1, we will announce that coming up momentarily right here on Locked On Lions. How about Detroit being a model of consistency and the team I'm least worried about in the NFC right now in terms of the contenders? I will explain that coming up momentarily, as it is all calm in Allen Park and not so much in other places. Amon Ra St. Brown, somebody at ESPN took a little bit of a shot at him. I want to get into that. And we'll go to our speak pipe and play you our call of the day for today right here on Locked On Lions. But thanks for checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Appreciate all of you watching and listening. Don't forget, the postcasts are back at Locked On Detroit Sports on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts with our guy Jake Rietma. So when the Tigers are back playing Friday, minute the game ends, Jake's on there doing a postcast. Check him out on Locked On Detroit Sports. All right, here we are. We are back and better than ever. We are raring to go. And look, we've been through this list. We do this every summer. We've been doing this since 2016. 5 guys that we think have the best chance, or that I think have the best chance to be first-time Pro Bowlers for the Lions are on the current roster. So this will exclude names like Penei Sewell, Jared Goff, Kevin Zeitler, I said Matt Laporta. Jeez, going back to my Indians days. Sam Laporta, Aiden Hutchinson, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, Amon Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, who was an alternate last year and then made it to the game, Frank Ragnow. All of these guys have been Pro Bowlers before. We went from 5 to 1. Terrion Arnold was 5. DJ Reader was 4. Taylor Decker still never made a Pro Bowl. Never made a Pro Bowl. At number 3. Aleem McNeill was Monday, number 2. Missed Dalton Wasserman, by the way, from Pro Football Focus. He was great yesterday. I apologize for the audio issues that we had. Shout out to Chris Druin, Mr. Audio Issues Snob. Appreciate you, CD. Another everydayer. And Joe Allen as well. My guy from Mid-States. Come on. Anyway, number 1 on this list is easy. This is a guy that I think if he's put in the right position this year, could be a Pro Bowl player. There were times you watched him on the defense last year and you went, he's the best defensive player on this team. I'm not talking about Aiden Hutchinson. I'm talking about Brian Branch. Brian Branch, to me, the second-year defensive back out of Alabama, has a chance to be a Pro Bowl player this year. I could go back and look at the Pro Bowl corners and the Pro Bowl safeties from last year and stuff. Forget anybody else. Brian Branch last year missed 2 games. Played 15 out of the 17 regular season games. He was out there for the playoffs. He's a stud. Week 1, Thursday night, prime time, Kansas City. And this guy's taken a pick 6 back to the house. taking an interception back to the house for a pick six off of Patrick Mahomes. He's all over the field. Brian Branch, closing speed. Brian Branch, tackling. Brian Branch, ball skills with 3 interceptions. And this year, he's not just going to be a slot corner. He's not just going to be a nickel. I think Aaron Glenn and this coaching staff are going to have him at safety. That's just a guess, but I think that's what's going to happen. And I just think he's going to be able to even roam more free, play the ball. He's versatile. And I look up and I say, man, thank you, Green Bay Packers, for trading the second round pick and allowing the Lions to move up at 47 last year, or 48, either one, to get Brian Branch. He's a special player. He really is. Kind of hit a rookie wall midway through last year. Again, had some injuries, was not 100%. But man, the way he tackles, the way he's around the football. Terrion Arnold said it a couple of weeks ago. The kid's a stud. He cannot wait to be his teammate again. Now, let's see about the foot injury, coming back from a little bit of surgery. Let's see if that hampers him at all. But I think if he's 100%, Branch is a guy that I think can take that next step and that players will vote for. Certainly coaches. And I just think he's got that it factor. And when I was putting the list together and I'm like, all right, who can be a Pro Bowler this year? It was not even close. Like, it was obvious to me that Brian Branch is the guy at number 1. Again, Lee McNeill's very good. Contract year. Might be a stud next to DJ Reader and really break out. And now that you've got Aaron Donald gone, you're opening up kind of an interior defensive line slot for the Pro Bowl. But I look at Brian Branch as a player that, as a defensive back, can just do everything. There were times last year, especially early in the year, I think it was the Green Bay game in week 4 last year, where he was just all over the field. You know, they sweep it out wide to Aaron Jones. Looks like he's got a little bit of a convoy and some room to cut it up, and Branch is there to make a tackle. Open tight end across the middle. Nope. Branch is there to break up the pass. The ball skills, the 3 picks. I love what the Lions have in Brian Branch. And I think that he is going to be the closest thing to a Pro Bowl player this year. And yes, there's a lot of depth at cornerback all of a sudden. That means the secondary is going to be better. That means what's around Brian Branch is going to be better, which means he can take some chances. He can be a little bit more risky. Right? Kirby Joseph was not always healthy last year. Branch had to play next to Kendall Vildor and Cam Sutton. Now he's going to get Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw, hopefully a healthy Emmanuel Mosley. So I'm bullish on Branch. And I think he's got a chance to be a first-time Pro Bowler just in the second year. So again, Brian Branch at 1, Aleem McNeill at 2, Taylor Decker at 3, DJ Reader at 4, Terrion Arnold at 5. If I had to put somebody at 6 that we haven't mentioned, I would put Alex Anzalone, because it seems like every year he's gotten better. But Pro Bowl is a bit of a stretch. It's not for Brian Branch. Brian Branch is a beast. So we're really looking forward to seeing how the Lions deploy him this year, use him this year. And I think he's got a great shot to getting to the Pro Bowl. So number 32, number 1 on our list, the second-year man out of Alabama, Brian Branch. Coming up next on the program, NFC state of the top teams. Only one team has no off-the-field issues and problems possibly surrounding them, and maybe 2. And I think they're both coming from this division. I will explain that coming up next right here on Locked On Lions. And as I said, Locked On Lions are brought to you by FanDuel. I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop, right? But playoffs are done in NBA and NHL. We got baseball. Heck, we don't really have much these next couple of days until we get baseball back after the All-Star break. So get fewer games. So the sports aren't sportsing like we want them to. But FanDuel will let you keep the sports going whenever you want. All you got to do is open up the app and dream up bets anytime that you are in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. And heck, if you want, you can bet on WNBA. WNBA is hot. It is. People are into it at FanDuel.com. Matt Derry back with you on a Wednesday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We talk Detroit Lions here. We got rookies reporting this week. We got all the entire roster reporting next Tuesday. The Lions will undergo their first training camp practice on Wednesday of next week. Can you believe this? I am so flipping excited. Lions and Rams, September 8th, Sunday night, NBC at 8:20. To get us all started for the 17 weeks of craziness that we call the NFL. So very excited about that. All right. So I was thinking about something today. When you look at the tiers and you look at where teams are in the NFC, forget about the AFC, the NFC. You got San Francisco trying to repeat as NFC champions. They've been, NFC champions 3 of the last 4 years. You got the Niners there, or 2 of the last 3. You've got, or 2 of the last 4. You've got San Francisco. You've got the Lions. You've got Philly. You've got Dallas. Those are really the 4 teams that everybody's talking about as having the best chance to get to the Super Bowl. Green Bay Packers are probably number 5. Could it be that when the dust settles on this entire thing, based off of where we are right now, when I'm going to big picture you in a second, that the Lions and the Packers are the 2 teams right now that don't have a cloud hanging over them? It's calm. It's calm at Packerland. They're in Ashwaubenon, Wisconsin. It's calm down at 222 Rodwood Drive in Allen Park. The Niners have an issue right now. Their best wide receiver, Brandon Ayuk, wants out, wants to be traded. The Niners are saying he's not going anywhere. Trying to work on a contract with him. He's a great player. We're going for it. We are better with Ayuk than without him. There's a stalemate here. There's some unhappiness here. There's a cloud over San Francisco. How about Dallas? Mike McCarthy on the hot seat. What if the Cowboys start 1-3? What if the Cowboys start 2-5? What if Dak struggles? Dak's in a contract year. There are distractions going on down there at Jerry World. Let's talk about Philly. Eagles loaded up. They got Saquon Barkley, probably the best free agent weapon out there. Paid him a lot of money. Stole them away from the division opponent in the Giants. They've got upgraded secondary with Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. I get it. They needed to do that. Right? The corners last year did not get it done. Slay had an off year. Bradbury was terrible. Regardless. But Philadelphia's coach, Nick Sirianni, is also feeling some heat. Slow start by the Eagles. What if they look like the team that they looked like at the end of last year that couldn't even beat the Tampa Bay Bucks in the playoffs? What if their offensive line takes a step back without Jason Kelce? What about their defensive line without Fletcher Cox? Here's a little secret. Eagles have issues. Cowboys have issues. Niners have an issue. Lions don't. What's the Lions' biggest issue right now? What could be a distraction? Aleem McNeill's contract? Taylor Decker wanting an extension? No. Dan Campbell has that locker room so tight-knit, so together, so focused on team. All right? There's a statue of a guy down in Ann Arbor that used to say, the team, the team, the team. That's what the Lions are about. The Lions and the Packers don't have any distractions. Dallas does. Philly does. San Fran does. Those are the top 5 teams in the NFC, and then there's a drop-off after that. I don't want to hear about the Bears slappies telling me about them, or hey, I think Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Atlanta. Everyone loves Atlanta. NFC South, Atlanta with Kirk Cousins. Oh, Atlanta's got a great offensive line. Stop. Come on. I'm not buying the Falcons making some run and being in that tier with the Leos. Not buying it. But how good does that make you feel as a Lions fan? Think about that. They're distraction free at the moment. Dallas isn't. San Francisco isn't. Philly isn't. And I've always respected the Eagles. Their GM, Howie Roseman, goes and gets players. They draft well. They love the SEC. They love Georgia guys. Last year, that was a nosedive at the end of the year. Did they get over it? I know they fired their OC. I know they fired Matt Patricia. They've got new coordinators. They think they're, they fixed the oil under the hood and all that stuff. But Sirianni is being questioned majorly in that town. Keep an eye on that. That's something I feel good about. ESPN.com, we mentioned the Jared Goff making the top 10 list at number 9 of top quarterbacks in the league. Today they did wide receivers and Amon Ra St. Brown. And again, this is voted upon by league executives, coaches, and scouts. They rank the top 10 wide receivers. Usual suspects at the top: Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb. Amon Ra St. Brown came in at number 7 on the list. In the article, though, there was shade thrown at Amon Ra, which I think is ridiculous. One NFC offensive coach told ESPN he's really tough. Quote, you know where the ball is going on third down, and he's usually coming up with it. End quote. All right, that's nice. Then we heard from an NFC executive, quoted in the story anonymously, that scheme and what Ben Johnson has done makes him look really good. Not taking anything away from him. Here it comes. But he's more dependent on the scheme than some of the other receivers on this list. End quote. Come on. You don't think Tyreek Hill isn't a little bit of dependent? Tyreek Hill's great. All right. And Tyreek Hill is better than Amon Ra. But you don't think Tyreek Hill playing in that arena system with the Dolphins, that fast break basketball system of Mike McDaniels, doesn't help him? The 2 or 3 step drops, the 500 they throw in the air and he runs and gets it. Come on now. Calling Amon Ra St. Brown a system guy is a joke. It's a slap in the face. This dude last year played a game, if you watch the Netflix receiver special, with hand, foot, and mouth disease. He wore a mask so he didn't get anybody sick. He had other injuries he plays through. Just because he's little and on 3rd and 7 he gets you 8 doesn't mean it's all scheme. That's bull crap. We're not gonna go through the old bit of naming every receiver that was drafted before Amon Ra. That's coming right up there. That's becoming a bigger old bit than Stafford and Kershaw. All right. But this dude can play and could play in any system. More dependent on the scheme than some of the other receivers on this list is trash. That's a trash take by an NFC executive. These guys are all tremendous athletes. You put CeeDee Lamb on the Lions, he'd be great. He's already great on Dallas. You put Justin Jefferson on the Raiders, he'd be great. He's already great in Minnesota. Amon Ra St. Brown, does the scheme help him a little bit based upon how they use him? Absolutely. But he'd be good anywhere. He's got a giant heart, great hands, and he knows how to get open. So I don't like that. I think it's lame. And I'm going to defend him in a big way. Call of the day on our SpeakPipe voicemail system is next here on Locked On Lions. Hey, our friends at LinkedIn Jobs are back here on Locked On Lions. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the job. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open for a perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses, 86% get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. All right, 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. Posted our job for a financial advisor at my company, Financial Architects. You can do the same. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. All right, folks, let's have a little fun, shall we? It's our call of the day segment from speakpipe.com. So if you go to speakpipe.com/Derry, DERY podcast page, you can leave a voicemail with me and we might make our call of the day. We've had a lot of everydayers that have been calling in. We've got others. Here is today's winner for call of the day, and we'll react to it right now.
Hey, what up, D's? Steve St here. Longtime listener. Since your 97 won the ticket days, your 105 days. Heard about the podcast in 2016. Been listening ever since. Big fan. You guys do a great job at Locked On. Keep up the good work. All right. Well, anyway, I got a question for you, D's. What do you think the Lions can do to step up their game and have better third quarters? Is it coaching? Are they getting out coached, out schemed after halftime? You know, I personally think the coaches need to step up their game a little bit in the third quarters. So, you know, my question to you is, what do you think that they could do to have a better third quarter? If they had better third quarters last year, we might be talking about a Super Bowl championship this year. But good to talk to you. I'll hang up and listen. Have a good one. Bye.
All right, thank you to Steve St. We love Steve on Twitter. He's always been a big supporter of ours, and he is our call of the day. I really liked his phone call there at speakpipe.com/Derry podcast page. We'll do another one tomorrow. Please send in your submissions. His question is valid. And one of our other everydayers, Turner Batdorf, is a big subscriber of Warren Sharp and Sharp Football. And the one thing that you look at with the really advanced numbers with Warren and what he points out is it's not what I think the biggest issue is, to answer Steve's question from the voicemail, is I think the Lions just really sucked last year against the pass. And so what happens is these teams realize in the third quarter, we're trailing. I mean, the Lions were up big in a lot of games at halftime this year. And teams came out in the third quarter and protected better. Lions weren't getting home. They started throwing. The Lions EPA and all these advanced metrics and stuff against the pass were near the bottom in all categories when it came to passing defense last year. Plus, the Lions did not do a great job pressuring the quarterback last year, especially in second halves. So what I think it needs to improve, and I think it already will happen, is the Lions are going to be better defending the pass this year. Terrion Arnold has been added. Ennis Rakestraw has been added. Hopefully a healthy Emmanuel Mosley, right? Amik Robertson has been added. That will help. But I also think the Lions have got to scheme a little bit better coming out of the half to get the players that are rushing the quarterback in the right spots. I think they got a little bit soft in the third quarters. I think teams came out and threw against them and changed up their game plan. I don't think the Lions changed up. I think the Lions are figuring, all right, we're facing, let's just use Atlanta as an example. All right, they're going to run the football with Bijan. They came out and started connecting on some throws. Just a game off the top of my head that I remember. Same with Minnesota in both games. So that was an issue all year, and I think that will be addressed. And I think that's a great question by Steve. The Lions had such a great year last year. Went to the playoffs, won 2 playoff games, won 14 games, 12 in the regular season, won the division for the first time since 1990, 1993. And it was like, man, this is great. But third quarters have got to improve. They cannot get stuck in the mud and do what they did in third quarters last year and hope to improve this year. So I think it is a legitimate question, a good question, and that's kind of my answer for it. But I'm excited. I can't wait to see what this team does, and hopefully we see better starts to second halves this year. That is for sure. All right, we are back again tomorrow right here on Locked On Lions. Again, we are a week away from the first day of training camp. Summer is flying by. It rains every day, by the way. I'm looking outside. It was raining 20 minutes ago. Now it's sunny. It seems like it rains every single day. So hopefully for those of you that have tickets to training camp coming up the next few weeks, hopefully you got some good sunny days and it's not too hot. The Lions will be back in Allen Park. The first preseason game, by the way, just a few weeks away at the Giants. Giants, Chiefs, and Steelers. Steeler game being at home in the last week of the preseason. All right, that'll do it for the Wednesday edition of Locked On Lions. If you missed yesterday's show with Dalton Wasserman from Pro Football Focus, Dalton was great. Please check that out. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.